am a part of the Black community, as well as the Hispanic community, as well as the trans and gay community. So part of the LGBTQ. And for me, I'm gonna start speaking on the trans community and the problems within the trans community is that they would much rather argue with somebody over pronouns and the right pronouns rather than actually sit down and talk with somebody about the presence of pronouns and what what it means to have pronouns. What I mean by that is that, let's say I'm at school and somebody walks up to me and decides to use she her pronouns. I use he him pronouns, and basically what somebody who is very adamant within the trans community would do was just basically attack them and like yell at them. And I would say, man, some advice on that, man. There's so much advice that you can give one person. I would have to say that maybe people should start. Oh, jeez, maybe people should start understanding a little bit more on like being approachable in a sense and being able to educate somebody rather than straight up going on the attack.
Hmm.
Okay. I don't know
Hmm.
if you guys would like to chime in on the situation. I'm even though you guys aren't a part of the community, I would love to have a discussion about it. So go
Well,
ahead.
Mm.
well. Hello, my mic not working. Hello,
Would you like to go first, or otherwise
hello.
I can? Oh,
I don't think my mic's working right now.
Okay,
well,
Brett, go ahead.
in that case, honestly, as
Let's see
I
what's going
have
on here.
been, of course, it's very interesting, being friends with Levi because I'm conservative. So I don't
Uh,
necessarily like believe in everything like that.
um,
However, I do my best to, be respectful and be, how should I say, cordial. It's very, hmm, I have noticed in my own community and everything like that, a lot of the time people will, let's say there's someone who isn't religious, for example, they're not like me, they're not necessarily principled about it, they just hate for fun. Yeah, understandable. um and a lot of times the big reason that they will be that way is because that they made a mistake and they got their head ripped off, uh as a term of speaking, and since then they've used that as a reason, because it's no longer just, oh, I'm confused about it. Now it's, those people don't deserve my respect. And a lot of the time, honestly, it feels much more like it feels a lot more like people are doing it almost as a trend or like a team they want to be part of, much instead of them being actually being their identity. For example, I've seen people who apply one label to themselves and then another, looking for a box that fits them, when, unless I'm mistaken, the purpose of the movement was to be that the box that you fit in is the one, you know that you're comfortable in. You're supposed to be comfortable in your own skin, not switching skins out until you find one that you like the best on you. Because honestly, if you were just going to define yourself by how other people saw you and described you anyway, then you may as well just remain, a man or a woman.
So
it's interesting that you
big
said
O.
that because that was gonna be. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I give you.
All right, that was gonna be one of my main things. I absolutely loathe when people of the community get mad at somebody for misgendering them or pronouncing them or whatever, because nobody knows you, especially if it's a brand new person. How are they supposed to know that's what you prefer? I feel like people of the community should work on the patience to deal with people that don't know them, for one, because there's been plenty of times I've seen somebody, I'm like, oh, that's a dude, and he's like, what do you mean? Oh, my bad. She's like, what do you mean? I'm not a guy, don't say this to me, I'm not that. That's very rude of you. And they go off on me. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I don't know you. I just addressed you how you looked. And which is another thing, controversial take, some people I feel like should use pronouns more to how they actually look. I understand you feel a certain way. I understand, I guess, like, you want to be addressed this way, but sometimes if you can't really, I feel like if you can't really pull off that look just yet, just quite yet, I feel like you shouldn't be upset when somebody mispronouns you. That's how I guess I should say it. Because if you look a certain way, you get addressed that way, then get very upset about it to somebody that doesn't know you. It's kind of, making them realize like, oh, these people, this community are kind of assholes and, dickheads about this whole situation because I don't know you and you got mad at me for this thing instead of you slowly being like, hey, I don't like that. Address me this way. My name is also this. And from now on, that's how I want to be addressed. It's okay if you slip up a couple times because I don't know you, but that's how I want to be addressed. And I feel like because of that stigma, which happens a lot with people these days, there's kind of like a split in people that do accept them because it's already hard enough for them to get accepted. There's a split with people that do accept them that are irritated sometimes by how they absolutely demand to be addressed a certain way, besides, informing somebody how they would like to be, addressed. And
Mm,
that's my take on that, certain problem.
mm. I can 100% see where you're coming from in terms of addressing yourself in the way you look, but sometimes people really don't have the money or
Mm-hmm.
insurance to achieve that look, achieve that special look
Mm-hmm.
for their pronouns, which is why a lot of people um which I kind of I which no offense I do disagree with that. I feel as if
Mm-hmm.
that people want to be addressed how they want to be addressed because it also leads to their gender dysphoria. That's like also why. And so I guess it's not a harmful mindset because it is your mindset in your opinion, but saying, "Oh, well, you should have your pronouns have the way that you look," it's kind of a bit harmful to the person because that's not really want how they want to be addressed. But
Well,
I do agree that they should not be motherfucking just yelling at somebody in
yeah.
terms of these are my pronouns, you better respect me, this and this. No, no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, you got to come at somebody and say, my name is Levi. I'll put an example. So what I do at the beginning of every year when I have a teacher who is a new name,
Mm-hmm.
I always send up them an email before the classes start to introduce myself
Mm-hmm.
and say, "Hey, I know that my dead name is this, and it's this on the email as well as on the Moodle page, which is the page in which we turn in work. But I go by this, and I hope you can respect that." And I just keep it like that. And if they don't, then that's another problem within the administration because Regis College is supposedly a very open school who
Mm-hmm.
help um include people rather than exclude. But
Mm-hmm.
if they do, and they always end up doing that and always understanding, and that's like you just gotta come at a respectable manner. That's all. Like at the end of the day, my piece of advice to somebody is to come at a respectable way so you can earn that respect.
Okay, interjection though. When I was saying earlier about how people should just accept, I wasn't trying to. I corrected myself in my own way of saying it. I meant it as in they should be more acceptable to, being called a certain pronoun, being
Okay, I
mispronounced by
get.
mistake.
Okay,
Because if
I
obviously
understand.
you're trying to project this look, but you don't exactly do that because of your circumstance, which is understandable.
Right.
You should be more lenient towards people that mispronounce you. That was my take on that.
Right. Okay, I understand. Okay, I understand you now then. Yeah, I 100% understand you
Hmm.
now.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Um who would like to go next in introducing themselves and their communities?
me,
And we
I
can
got
speak on a
this.
topic
I
related.
got this.
All right, go
My
ahead. Go
name is
ahead, bro.
Big O. My name is Big O. I'm African American. I'm from Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi to be exact. And I'm from, as you know, the black neighborhood, specifically out of African American. I know there's a bunch of different dialects. So I'm gonna say the black African American group. And my whole issue with our community that I hate a lot is that we do not trust each other, which is what I hate the most in this world. I hate that the people in my community will love to see each other prosper, will love to see each other do big things, will love to raise each other up, and do all these amazing, phenomenal things in the world and life, but they will not, let's say, give $1 to help you do this, or will not exactly support you all the way. They will support you once you make it up there, and once you are already there through all the hard work and trials that you have to do. But they will. I hate that it's very hard to get them to help you get to that point to make it easier for you because we don't all trust each other. Part where you're saying crime, you said crime doesn't make things.
Is a symptom, not a cause. Yes, crime doesn't make things bad. Crime happens because things are bad. For example, let's say you have a low income community, right? And you
Mm-hmm,
have people who go around, let's do a light crime, they're vandalizing. They
mm-hmm,
break windows.
mm-hmm.
Because those windows are now broken, because let's say those windows are broken because they were broken by a group of kids who were bored because their local what's it called, field got shut down, the community center, it got shut down, so they have nothing to do, so they're idle. They go around and break windows. Because those windows are broken, that is directly linked to an uptick in crime. That has been directly linked. If you can walk down the street and you see broken windows, and those windows are broken and they stay broken for weeks and weeks, you know that that neighborhood will see a measurable uptick in crime. This is something I wish I had the statistics on for myself, but is a real thing known as the broken windows phenomenon. And because those windows are now broken and crime increases, now those children who previously were bored walking around can no longer walk around safely because this area may be controlled by a criminal element. And what do you do when your area is controlled by a criminal element and you don't have a way out? You join that criminal element. So something as simple as the community park being closed down for austerity measures can lead, in fact, to increase in gang-related activity, which increases gang violence. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
give people a way out, they will create one. People need, uh, freedom and things like that. People need to. People have a sort of natural amount of energy that they need to expel. Um, and their minds
Mm.
need to be challenged
Okay, so what
further.
about
So what I
the
believe,
people in the rich neighborhoods that still do crime?
interestingly enough, it's actually caused by a lot of the same things. They themselves are also trapped, but I'll
Mm-hmm.
get to that point later.
Well, hold on. I got something interesting to say about this, which I've
Okay.
noticed. My bad. I
you
kind of popped the bin.
no, you're good.
The folks
No,
in
no,
my
that was the end of my thought.
oh, all right. My folks going crazy right now. But interesting enough, I've noticed that a lot of younger people that does have that same thought process also can think for themselves individually. It's more when they get into a bigger group and out in the open where they kind of just go with the flow and move with the group versus when you get them individually. There's plenty of examples I have. Like the main one I have is from at work. Remember how I was telling you about how all these guys, one of the reasons, quote unquote, they didn't want to vote fuck them out. So it was like they don't want their kids to have transgender operations and everything, and
Right,
that they don't like transgender people, and that, like, my son not finna grow up gay or whatever, right? And I was like, okay,
right,
not being 18 years old, getting a transgender, understandable. I feel like people should wait till they're at least 18 to get an operation or whatever, because they're still like kids and their brain isn't even developed. But then
right.
each one of those members on my work line came to me after work. It was like I was just chilling, waiting for mom. They each individually came to me after work, and they all had differing opinions than the ones they told me when they was in the group together. And
Mm,
one of them being, his name is, this guy named Omar. He's 22. He's my age. At first, he was like, my son, he's Hispanic guy. My son ain't finna grow up gay. My son ain't finna grow up thinking all that stuff normal. He's like, hell no, my son ain't finna do all that. Right? Next thing you know, after work, he comes up
right.
to me. He's like, well, I don't care if my son is gay. I don't, he was like, I don't mind that. He's like, I just don't want him to grow up thinking that's the right way to think. I feel like because I told him, like, bro, once they get to like high school, that's on their own. They can figure out what the fuck they want to. I said, you shouldn't be able to control them on what they like and how they like. He was like, I feel the same way actually. He's like, I feel like once my son's old enough to understand everything, then I feel like he should be able to go out and like what he like, and I'm gonna love him just the same. And I was like, yo, why you press me with everybody else then if you acting like this now? He's just like, well, I just didn't want them to think I was weak or anything. I just want them, to think, let them know that I agree with them, but not all the way. And I was like, when I was asking y'all that, you didn't say that. That's him.